Hello again. Just watching the tennis. I'll just put the sound off. Got my big screen. I've set this up a bit better now. Got the fish there. I can sort of see out a bit. I don't like them having a full range view because that's their world in there, not out here. They should be a bit blocked off. So I kind of like it. They can just see out the end and out the side. And I got the screen there for now. But yeah, I got a bit of tennis happening. I'll just turn the sound off. Still working on all my stuff. I've pulled the stereo apart. I don't think it's much good. The speakers are hard to find. I've got, they're all damaged. One's not too bad, but looks a bit stuffed. This one is totally ruined. But I think I can get smaller ones with the same frames and will be just as good. I might try and do that. I did clean up all the boards. These are pretty good. This is the tape part. Tape's really good. The CD I think is okay, and the other bit, the radio, but this central module thing here that goes, and the transformer. I think the transformer's stuffed. That's the power. Transforms the power from 250 or 230, 240 volts AC down to DC. So yeah, I don't know if that's any good. It's all rusted out, and a lot of the little resistors and things, or the capacitors or whatever's on it, are all rusted and falling off. And some of these are too. On this is the other part that connects to. It's sort of like the central brain with all the front panel buttons, the capacitors and things that go to. What does that go to? I think this might be like a step up sort of amplifier or something. I'm not sure. That's the little chip on there. It does all the other stuff. Yeah, so this part here is a bit damaged too. The rest is all right. So it's basically the transformer that does the power transform from AC to DC or whatever, changes up the power. That's a big coil. It's like one side has more coils than the other, so the power will run through one coil, have a magnetic sort of field, and then stimulate the other coil on the other side. So there's no actual contact. It sort of goes through a magnet with coil around it, so it creates a current on the other side at a lower voltage. So that's how a transformer sort of works, using kind of induction or whatever you call it, magnetic induction. Or so yeah, that's kind of stuff. This is sort of the buttons and things. Most of it looks alright, but a lot of the pathways look a bit damaged too. The back looks alright, but on the top, look, I'm not sure. I think a lot of the components are too rusted. If I get a new part for this, maybe, but I might as well just buy a whole new tape deck really for the cost of that. And yeah, the other part was just the speakers were buggered. The rest looks alright. I don't know. Look, I might try and replace the little resistors over time. I'll put it in a bucket somewhere or a box. I've got some boxes and come back to it when I've got the money. I don't have any money for parts. I've got so many different expenses I've got to pay for. Or I've got all this, afterpay for my graphics card I've got to pay off and other things, bills. I've just got $300 of parking fines. I don't know where I'm supposed to park. I didn't get a parking space in this building. There's no room out the front. So I had to park over the road. And I didn't know it was 2 hour parking, and I can't really get a permit, I don't think, because I don't live along that side. I don't know if I can or not. And I sort of asked the landlord, they're like, oh, well, just go talk to Banyul. But so I don't really know what to do, What do I do? Sort of, might sound pathetic, but why can't they help me out with giving me some kind of ticket or something, I've got 2 cars. What am I supposed to do, So I really need a new house with a garage, 3-car garage. I want 3 cars. I want to, try and get a ute or a van, like a utility van or a truck. I like having that, my full drive, and a little sports car. So I've got my Peugeot, I've got my truck as it is, and I like to have a little utility van, like a ute or a van to put things in, or even go away camping in. If I just want to not have a tent, I can just sleep in the back of the ute, or have a canopy on the ute, or a van even. I'd love just a 3 car garage, like a bigger one actually than 3 car, like an actual big garage I can park in and also work in, and have a workshop in there. But yeah, look, they want me to do everything the hard way. I like things the easy way. I think it's easier to support people and help them out. Everything I've done for society, and it goes back to, I wanted to talk about the superpower thing, how I help everyone. That they just take it for granted that it's just part of life, but it's something I've worked all my life to develop. I'm talking millions of years developing. People just take for granted rebirth, but that's something I created, being crucified. That was my study, spirituality, and I actually created rebirth. And before that, everyone just lived and died. There was no rebirth. They came into the world and went back to the spirit world and were destroyed. So that was my sacrifice to make, so people could actually be reborn. So I'm never thanked for these things, really. People just misunderstand it all, that it's just part of life, has always been. But no, life keeps changing, evolving, Superpower is part of that too. It's the point where you can rebirth yourself without actually passing away. You just transfer yourself to another life that's already born before you die, So, and you might pass away, or that other body might turn into something else. It's kind of like immortality in a way. I suppose in the very end of time, it'll either be something like either Krishna, sort of consciousness, sort of philosophy, religion, sitting around under trees, maidens bathing you in bath salts or milk or something, or honey, surrounded by beautiful people, or bathing, or out in the environment of love and everything. Or it'll be something more like He-Man, Eternia, where it'll be constant battles and fights, and it'll be one or the other. I think the universe will turn into, and that'll lead on to the next one. So I would prefer the Krishna one. That's what I wanted, to marry my soulmate and fall in love and bathe in the river. And you get all these big companies just want to fight everyone and create warfare, and they want constant battles and fights and war all the time. Why do they want this sort of thing? I don't understand that, really. I think they find the idea of sitting around bathing with beauties boring, but I think it's fantastic. You never get bored of women. Females are here to complement us totally, so we're never bored. And we fill all our life with all these distractions and things and projects and things that really are based on warfare. All the stuff we're using, radios, communications, cars, trucks, even computers, even fish tanks really are sort of an act of warfare on fish, aren't they? Trapping them. And the idea of living like a Krishna, so Sri Krishna out like a king of heaven, is sort of what Sri Krishna is, king of heaven or king of life, is what everyone could be in the end, And there's pictures of Sri Krishna surrounded by other Sri Krishnas, they all have different names, but they all sort of look similar with the golden halos, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, It's where your mind starts escaping your body and you start bonding with the world, with your mind and your heart and your soul, and you connect with everything, and that's sort of what I do anyway. But life's still a battle without love, They restrict all our money. They've created this warfare. They've created computers to distract us, where they go and steal all our wealth and people. And it's such a horrible idea that really in the end it might end up like He-Man, the battle for Eternia and the Castle Grayskull. And look, I kind of don't care. I mean, as long as you get a bit of fun and a bit of love and that as well. But, I suppose Krishna probably in a way will bathe and everything, and then maybe he goes to war with things too, in a way. It could be sort of, it might be like He-Man's life always is like fighting and everything, and then he goes and rests and relaxes in his castle, and the power goes away and he's a little prince. With Krishna, it might be he's always relaxing and beauty and feeling beautiful and in love, and then he goes away to battle, and then, that's his solitude time by himself when he goes off to war, maybe with his princesses or something, So it might be sort of the opposing yin yang different scenarios. The yin yang can exist within us. We don't have to be a yin and a yang, female, male. The yin yang can just be our life. It was sort of transformative. We're one thing. We're a warfare, and then we're a lover. So I suppose in the end it's sort of one or the other. But it'd be nice if it was more of a Krishna, loving the environment, not having to battle the elements, but coexisting with the elements. And it's a beautiful thing to feel at peace with animals and nature, and not feel intimidated by any of that, but feel like they're your friends. I mean, look at Trigger. He's down there so content with the little bed I made him. He was so happy, just that I made him this beautiful little bed to sleep, and he's just staying there all day. I rearranged my tables and things. I put them around differently. I think it's better this way. I like the computer to access the dual screen, so I can go on the monitor or the big screen. I think that's good that way. I can sit here with my keyboard, or I can go up there. I need probably a wireless keyboard though, so I can move around. Yeah, I'm happy like this. I've sort of got rid of one of the turntables. I've just got the one there. I don't need two, honestly. I can put the other one away, and one of the needles broke anyway, so I can't be bothered. That's a better needle. That's a diamond head one. The other one's a cheapo that broke. It bent backwards. I've taken all those other speakers away. I've just got the two big ones for my amp, for the turntable, and then I've got the 5.1 for the TV, for movies. So yeah, I'm happy here now. I've got my little projector up there for the Sega and that. I'm watching videos. I've unplugged the Wii. I don't use that, but it's down there. I've got the TV running through it, through the big screen, so that's good. I've got a splitter box. I find all the stuff I need here because I keep everything I have. I like to keep everything because often things will come handy. I had to buy a big screwdriver the other day. I didn't have a long screwdriver, but that was only $2, and the other one I bought two. The other one's only $20. So. Yeah, and my solar's working really well. It's running at 13 volts, and it hasn't died off during the night. It's stayed. My fridge has been on all night. I got up and it was at 0 degrees all night, and so I'm happy with that. I've just got to work out the parallel connections for the 3 panels I want to use. I want to take down the camp one because that's for camping, but I know that works now with my setup. I knew anyway. So that'll be good with that setup. I've got the battery in the car for that. And these other 2 batteries I'll put out under the table, and I'll run them in parallel or series or something. I'm thinking maybe 24 volts at 100 amp hours, because at 24 volts the amps are lower. So if divide that by the 100 amp hours, it lasts twice as long. So yeah, it's just the wattage stays the same. So the volts and the amps can adjust inversely proportional to how many volts. If you increase the volts, the amps will go down, of course, because it has to equal the same wattage, and it's volts times amps equals watts. So the power doesn't change. That comes in through the panels and from the battery. I think the battery is something like, what's 24 times 100? So it's 2400 watts. So that's good. Yeah, that's one. That'll be 2 batteries connected together. That's enough to run a fridge. I think enough to run that freezer. I'd love to run that freezer off it or something, or just something. It's good having a little power point now. I can have my light there, or plug in my phone to charge. I've run the the cable up through the carpet, and it pops up, and then I've got my inverter in here. So you want the power plugs in here so you can use them. Yeah, so that's all that set up. So yeah, what is there to tell about superpower? It's there to prolong life. It's life. It's not death. So there's no death in it. There's no death. It can't really hurt you. It can teach you a lesson if you're doing the wrong thing and you're really upsetting it, and you're really upsetting people it loves. Otherwise, it'll leave you alone, really. I mean, if you're out there upsetting people it doesn't know or doesn't love, it's up to you to deal with that yourself, and them to deal with that themselves. They pray to God or pray to Christ or even Superman or whoever you believe me to be in spirit or body or even physical. If I believe it's something, that you deserve and something that will help me, and because I'm not just a PowerPoint to plug into and get energy from. I'm a person with feelings and desires and hopes and dreams for myself, and I want to participate in life. I live it to the full, So I'm here for, the community, really. I want to be a good Superman to help the community build a new, well, not a new, but, build the world into I suppose into a new sort of world that this world will get old, and after a while we'll get sick of tennis, we'll get sick of things the way they are. And we'll want to see new stuff, and we are seeing new stuff every week, really. I like that they keep the old stuff. I like nostalgia. I like retro. I like keeping things that are tried and true. I like keeping that. I like keeping tape decks and old things that come in handy. I don't just want everything a short throw projector. I want me monitor. I want me fish tank. I want me I want other things, not just everything on a phone. I want to be able to use it to whatever a video player, a camera. I want things independent. I want a coffee maker. I want to make my instant coffee. I want choices. I want. Might sound a lot to want, but in a happy world, things work out well. I want nature to be abundant. I want us to find balance with nature. I want us to feel more in touch with nature, not feel everything has to be a desolate wasteland of Eternia and fighting battles, and then we sit in our castle Grayskull where we feel safe with our power protects us from the elements or something. It'd be nice to feel, surrounded by abundant beauty and just walk and pick fruit. And, animals fall at your feet and die and give you the pelt and run away. You just pick up the pelt and walk home and have a nice meal. And the pelt, I mean, is a body. They give away a body and run away. Because they're strong too. Animals will have a superpower. They can eat food and then give you a body to eat. They're happy to do that. Fall at your feet and die and then run away and start a new life. That's what they do. They're a food source. That's what they like to do, feed up and then give away their body. It's sad that there's so much cruelty. They should be able to do that themselves by their own choice because they love you. Wouldn't say Trigger would do that, but maybe a lamb or a cow or someone with meat that's not personal. Anyway, there's probably people that like eating dog. That's not something I like eating. I had a dog's leg once accidentally. I thought it was chicken and yuck. Oh, it's like eating Trigger. It's horrible. He's my best friend at the moment, so I think I was a Cyrus, and I think he's sort of a Nubis, so we've kind of been here all along too. We keep coming back to each other. And he's a special dog, Trigger. He's crypto under there, and he doesn't mind. I've talked to him about it, and he's like, I don't mind, Evan. I love you. And so we'll be together forever, me and Crypto, I'd say, until my family arrives, my wife and kids. And then they'll join in Crypto. He might have kids himself, have some little children. I use all these words, crypto, because kryptonite is actually a substance. It's not something you can really patent or copyright because it exists. Like saying Oxygen Man is, copyright, but oxygen exists and it's not a word someone's made up. Kryptonite is a real thing. It's one of the hardest substances, really, because it's created by all these sort of elements combined, and that's sort of why Superman is kryptonite, so anyway, I just say Superman. It could be anything, I don't know, Power Man or Whoopie Doo Man or whatever. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Peace out. Don't lie to people. Give me credit. It'll come back to you better. Give me an inch of credit. I'll give you a world of opportunities and love. So, peace out.